Welcome back to my channel. If you are visiting my space for the first time, you are also highly welcome. In this lecture, we'll be looking at the Extensor Carpi Ulnaris. Let's try and use this image by the side to describe where this muscle is located. This is the posterior compartment of the upper limb, and this is the Extensor Carpi Ulnaris highlighted in green. This muscle is seen to originate from the lateral epicondyle. If you try to put this image in its correct anatomical position, this is the lateral side, and on this other side is the medial side. We know that the thumb is always directed laterally in correct anatomical position. So you see fibers of this muscle originate from the lateral epicondyle. You also see some fibers also originating from the posterior border of the ulna. And you see this muscle finally directed to the ulnar side of the posterior region of the forearm, where it is finally seen to be inserted inferiorly on the dorsal or the posterior surface of the fifth metacarpal bone. If you look at it, you see that the fifth metacarpal bone is around the medial side, and of course, it's also seen to run along the alignment of the ulna. So if you drive through the name of this muscle, it is extensor because it is one of the muscles located in the posterior compartment of the forearm, which is also referred to as the extensor compartment. And it is carpi because it is finally inserted on the dorsal or the posterior surface of the metacarpal. And of course, it is ulnaris because you see it finally running along the alignment of the ulna. So you can see how this name is drafted. So ride on with me in this lecture where we'll be describing some other details that you should know as students of anatomy. The extensor carpi ulnaris is one of the superficially placed muscles within the posterior compartment of the forearm. If we go back to our previous lecture on the muscles in the posterior compartment of the forearm, you see that in that lecture we described the extensor carpi ulnaris as one of the superficially placed muscles. We say that we have a total of 12 muscles in the posterior compartment of the forearm, while 7 of these muscles are superficially placed. The remaining 5 are deeply embedded. So within the 7 muscles that are superficially placed, we also added that 4 of these muscles originate from the lateral epicondyle, while the remaining 3 originate from the posterior surface or region of the lateral epicondyle and also the supracondylar ridge. We highlighted this in details in that lecture. So we say that the extensor carpi ulnaris is one of the muscles that are superficially placed in the posterior compartment of the forearm, and it is also one of the muscles that are seen to originate from the lateral epicondyle. This muscle is seen to have a flexor version in the anterior compartment of the forearm. The flexor version of this muscle is referred to as the flexor carpi ulnaris. The flexor and the extensor versions of this muscle are not seen to have a brevis and a longus version. And it is important that we also highlight this. So they are just tagged the flexor carpi ulnaris in the anterior compartment or the flexor compartment, and also only tagged the extensor carpi ulnaris in the posterior compartment or the extensor compartment. We do not have a brevis and a longus version that is seen in the radialis version of this muscle. Don't forget that we have also the radialis version of the extensor carpi ulnaris, which is the extensor carpi radialis. The extensor carpi radialis is seen in the posterior compartment also of the forearm, and it is seen to have a brevis and also a longus version. While in the flexor compartment, the radialis version is not seen to have a brevis and also a longus version. And it is important that we highlight this. Let's use this slide to describe the origin and also the insertion sites of this muscle. The extensor carpi ulnaris is seen to have 2 points of origin, and this is why it is seen to have the humeral and also the ulnar X. If you try to use this image by the side, we already established that this is the posterior view of the upper limb, and this alignment that is shown here in this image is the extensor carpi ulnaris. For the humeral head, it is seen to originate from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, and this is what is harrowed here at this point. So if you put this image in its correct anatomical position, this is the lateral side and this is the medial side. So this is where we have the lateral epicondyle. The lateral epicondyle is also seen to also serve as a point of origin for some muscles that are located in the superficial layer of the posterior compartment of the forearm. And this includes the extensor carpi radialis brevis, the extensor digitorum, and also the extensor digiti minimi. So these three elected muscles with the extensor carpi ulnaris are seen to have a common site of origin, and this is referred to as the common extensor tendon. And this is what is harrowed here at this point. It's also important that we highlight this in case we come across this during our examination. So after its emergence from the lateral epicondyle, we also have some fibers of this muscle originating from the posterior border of the ulna. Don't forget that this is where we have the ulna here on the medial side. So at the posterior border of the ulna, we also see some fibers originating from this point. And this is taken as the ulnar head of the extensor carpi ulnaris. So after the origination from the two different points, they are seen to be finally directed inferior-medially. And for these fibers spiraling inferior-medially is for them to assume the ulnar alignment of the posterior region of the forearm. If you go back to the arrangement of bones that are located in the forearm, you see that the ulna is medially placed while the radius is placed on the lateral side. And if you go back to when we started this lecture in trying to establish how the name is drafted, we say that this muscle runs along the alignment of the ulna. And after this course, it is seen to be directed inferiorly towards the wrist, where it is then seen to pack deep to the extensor retinaculum. This is where we have the extensor retinaculum, that is a thickening of the antebrachial fascia around the posterior lower region of the forearm. And it is below this structure that the tendon of the extensor carpi ulnaris will pass through. And upon passing beneath this structure, it is finally seen to be inserted on the dorsal or the posterior surface of the base of the fifth metacarpal. And this is what is harrowed at this point. So you see that this muscle, even though its origination is from the lateral side, it is finally seen to be inserted on specific region around the medial side. And this is why we say that it spirals inferior-medially for it to be able to assume this alignment. Now let's go further where we'll be describing the relations of this muscle. The extensor carpi ulnaris is the most medially placed muscle within the superficial layer of the posterior compartment of the forearm. We try to use this upper image. This image is already placed in its correct anatomical position. This muscle that is harrowed here in blue is the extensor carpi ulnaris. Out of all the muscles that are located in the superficial layer, the extensor carpi ulnaris is the most medially placed. While if you go on the more lateral side, we have the extensor digiti minimi and also the extensor digitorum. Towards the wrist, it is seen to also pass below the extensor retinaculum. And this is what is highlighted here at this point. It is important that we drive further in establishing the specific compartment that the tendon of this muscle pass through beneath the extensor retinaculum. Let's try and use this arrangement to illustrate this. This region that is highlighted here in black is the extensor retinaculum. And below the extensor retinaculum, we have 6 compartments created. The 6 compartments created around the inferior region of the extensor retinaculum. And this is to accommodate the tendons of the extensor muscles that are located in the posterior region of the forearm. If you try to put this arrangement in its correct anatomical position, this is the medial side, and this other side is the lateral side. So you see that specifically it is in the 6th compartment that is harrowed there at this point that we have the tendon of the extensor carpi ulnaris. And this is what is carved out here at this point. It is also important that we have that there is a distinct soft sheet that is seen to wrap around this tendon, of course helping to hold it with the groove that is seen or located around the posterior surface of the ulna. Don't forget that the ulna is placed medially. So around this region is where we have the ulnar bone. So there is a soft sheet that is highlighted here in blue that is further helping to hold the tendon of this muscle in place. And this is where it is helping to anchor it with the groove that is seen around the distal dorsal surface of the ulna. This muscle is seen to exert extension of the wrist, and it is able to do this because it is seen to cross over the wrist. Don't forget that towards the wrist, it is seen to pass below the extensor retinaculum. Specifically, it is seen to pass through the cyst compartment. And after passing through this region, it is then seen to access the hand region. And along this course is where the tendon of this muscle is seen to pass over the wrist. It is also seen to exert adduction, which can also be referred to as ulnar deviation. Don't forget that the ulna is located around the medial side. So if the hand is deviated towards the ulna, which means it is taken closer to the body, and this is because of the placement of this muscle. Don't forget, when we started with this lecture, we said that the extensor carpi ulnaris is seen to run along the alignment of the ulna, and because of this, it is seen to be positioned around the medial side of the posterior compartment of the forearm. And because of this, it is seen to draw the hand towards the body, which of course is referred to adduction. Let's look at the innervation and also the blood supply of the extensor carpi ulnaris. This muscle is innervated by the posterior interosseous nerve. We know that the posterior interosseous nerve is a continuation of the deep branch of the radial nerve. The blood supply of this muscle is by the posterior interosseous artery. The posterior interosseous artery is an emergence from the common interosseous, which of course is an emergence from the ulnar artery. While the upper region or upper part of this muscle is supplied by the radial recurrent artery. The radial recurrent artery is an emergence from the radial artery. And of course, it is seen to emerge around the upper region. And this is where it is seen to be providing blood supply to just the upper part or upper region of this muscle. Let's look at clinical anatomy. And what we'll be looking at here is subluxation of the extensor carpi ulnaris tendon. And this occurs when there's a displacement of this tendon from the ulnar groove. Don't forget that we use this arrangement on this other side in establishing the compartment that the tendon of the extensor carpi ulnaris run below the extensor rectinal floor. Around the medial side is where we have the cyst compartment, and it is this cyst compartment that allows for the passage of the tendon of the extensor carpi ulnaris. We also say that there is a soft sheet that is highlighted here in blue that further helps to hold the tendon onto the groove that is seen around the posterior distal surface of the ulna. When this sheet is ruptured, it can lead to the displacement of the tendon of this muscle. And this is what is harrowed here in blue. And this can lead to pain and also swelling. Basically, immobilization, physical therapy, or surgery, if chronic and there is a need for the repair of the tendon, may serve as treatment options. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you find this useful.